Hello there, welcome to ADcraft. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build this fantastic mountain house with a full wreath and redstone flashing lights. So don't go anywhere, get in the Christmas spirit and let's get on with the video. Here's the list of materials that you'll need for the finished build, including the interior. The first thing for the build that you'll need is a suitable mountain. Now you need 15 wide minimum by 12 high minimum. And what we're going to be doing is setting the wreath and starting this area 2 blocks up. And this is a 9 by 9 space. And inside that we have a 5 by 5 space that is going to be the actual interior of the build. We also have this 3 by 4 which is going to be the doorway area, and the very first thing that we're going to do is start by digging out some of this space, and with this doorway we are going to go back 6 blocks, and then with this area we're actually going to be digging out this stone in between these two, so the whole thing around this is going to be a 7 by 7. And we are going to be digging that out, and that's going to be 10 blocks. So that's 10 blocks deep here, 6 blocks deep here. I'll dig this out and come back to you. With those dug out, the next thing we're going to be doing is placing some redstone lamps. Now these are going to be placed against each of these yellow blocks. So there's a 3 gap in the middle here, and then 2 either side. And that goes round all of these sides round here. The other thing that we're going to do at this stage is just behind these yellow blocks, we're going to dig out a 2 wide trench all the way round on all sides of this. Now we have the trench. Next we place some spruce planks all the way round the inside of this area here. After that we're going to start placing in these repeaters. So any of these yellow blocks that we have here, we are then going to place a repeater on 2 ticks going into the lamp. And we're going to do that on all of the sides and also on the top here as well. So each one of these is replaced by a repeater pointing into the lamp. To power this whole thing, we're going to start by adding the clock. And what we're going to do is we're going to come 1 block back here, and we're going to dig out a 3 high space, and that's going to also go 3 deep. So it's going to bring us in line with this. And at the start on the left in here, we're going to place a spruce plank, and we're going to place a lever on that. That's going to be our on-off switch for the whole system. Now we're going to place a redstone torch here, and we're going to have a repeater coming out of here on 2 ticks, a repeater going into here on 2 ticks, and then we're just going to connect that up with redstone dust. And as you can see, that starts a little clock going on. You can change up the timings depending on how quickly you want these to flash, but we're going to turn that off for the moment because it's important that we know it's off, so we can set up these lights to only come on when it is on. Now that this is off, we're going to connect up this side and the bottom repeaters. We're going to do that by placing any block on top of this redstone torch. I'm just using a wall block so it's easy to see where the redstone signal's going, but it does need to be a block that will conduct a redstone signal. Now in the side of this we're going to place a redstone torch here, and that will be on, but that will go off once we flick the lever. On top of that we're going to place a block, and we're going to place a block just down beneath it here, so that is just across and level with this floor. On this block we're going to place 2 redstone torches, one here and one here, and those will both flick to the off position, which means that when the lever's off, these will be off as well. Now we're going to place a block here. This will be powered by this one, and then just tower up, placing a redstone torch and then a block, and then a redstone torch, and then a final block here. So as you'll notice at present, both of these 2 torches are off whilst this is off, which is exactly what we want, so these lamps aren't going to be on. Next we place a couple of comparators here. We're going to place 1 comparator here, again on 2 ticks, and we're going to place 1 comparator here on 2 ticks. We'll come to that one in a second, and just line these up with the redstone from here. So now we will see, if we quickly go around, that when we turn this on, we've got those 2 sides that are now flashing on. To get things ready for the next set of redstone, what we're going to do is we are going to place some blocks just in the corners here, in all 4 of the corners. And at the top ones, we're going to have some upside down stairs running across so we can run the redstone signal. And here we're just going to place some right way upstairs to cover up this at the bottom. Now to build the torch tower going up the side here, we're going to start by placing a block here, and then we're going to place a torch on the side of that block. We're then going to place a block on top of this with, just coming in here, a torch there, and that is going to be off, which means that these are also, this light is also off, and we'll just tower up in exactly the same way we did on the other side. So block and block with redstone torch in between. And now what this means is that this is off, so everything from here down is now off when the lever's off, and it'll start flashing once that comes on. What we need to do here is we'll clear a little bit more space just so we can get in nice and easily. We need to bring this signal up and across now. So we're going to do this by placing a torch in the side, placing a block here. We're going to come in, just get rid of this a second, and place another torch here on the side like so. So now we can place that spruce plank back in there. We're going to have another block on top here. So what this does is it makes sure that the signal is in the right place for bringing it across this top bit. And then we're going to place another 2 repeaters, both on 2 ticks, one here and then one in the middle. And the reason that we have these ones in the middle is just to vary up the speed that this goes, so all of the lights aren't coming on at the same time. And now the simple thing to do is literally just connect these ones up with some redstone dust, and then that is all the redstone finished. And if we go back in, flick this lever, you'll see as soon as we turn it on, you get the lights coming through and flashing around there. Now you can change, like I said, the repeater settings to have that faster or slower, as per your desire really. Next thing to do is, now that we've done that and we've tested that everything works, we're going to cover this redstone up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fill this in with some planks here, right the way up so it's level with this, and then coming out on this block here as well. So this is then just going to be filled up there, and then coming inside the build. At the bottom here, we're going to be using oak planks rather than the spruce to fill in, because this is what's going to become the floor in a second. And then up the sides, we're just going to fill this in with some spruce planks. So it connects up to the top and connects up on this side as well. And we're also going to bring these out just to box the entire thing in, because once it's all working, you shouldn't ever need to get back into this redstone. The other thing to do once we've filled this up is again just fill in across the top with the oak planks. Now inside this build, we're going to fill in the void that we've created, because this was just for us to be able to access it basically. So anywhere where there's a gap, so it doesn't become a spawning space, we just fill all of those in. And again, that should mean that it's spawn free in there. And then what we're going to do is on the entirety of the inside, all of the walls all the way round, we're going to have the spruce planks, and then we're going to take out this and replace this roof with some oak planks, and we're going to do the same with the floor. So we're going to replace this floor with some oak planks as well, and we'll get this entire box filled in with oak and spruce around the sides. Now that looks much tidier, we're also going to do a very similar thing here. So we're going to replace the floor, and we're going to leave this front block because we'll do something slightly different with that. We're going to replace this floor with the oak, we're going to replace this ceiling with the oak, and then we're going to fill in the walls, except for this bit here, because this is where the staircase is going to go up. We're going to fill in the walls coming right the way round the sides here. Connecting this entranceway up to the build is as simple as knocking out some of these blocks or mining them away, and we're going to use some stairs, and we're just going to bring this through. What we'll also want to do is take out this bit of the roof and put some upside down stairs, just so you don't bash your head when you're coming up and down. But as we knock these next bits out and place the stairs in, we'll see that we actually come up to the side of the build. So what we'll want to do here is just, keep this going, knock through into the build by placing the stairs out, and then just clearing this up and putting the stairs upside down like so, with one final set of stairs like this. Now all of the walls that we can see like this, we just want to simply replace these with some of the spruce. At the point that these stairs are, these upside down stairs come here, this is where the floor is going to be for the second floor. So we're going to place some planks, some slabs rather, coming through. And again, this is going to be glass, so we're not going to come out this far, but the rest of it we're just going to fill in with the planks right the way across this floor like so. With the second floor in place, we're going to start the staircase and build this up to the other floor. So this is going to come out and round, and what we're going to do is come level with this wall, and then we're going to dig out all of these spruce blocks, and this will expose the stone. And this is where the staircase is going to start coming up. So we're going to have some oak stairs coming through here, and we're going to come up 2 sets of oak stairs. So we'll come up here, and this will be where we have the next transition. So we'll come around, and we're going to dig 2 blocks back with this. Then we're going to dig 4 more blocks across. So this section will be 6 in total, like this. I'll just pop a torch down just so we can see a bit better. 1 more. And so yeah, once we've got this as 6 blocks, this is where we start stepping up again to the next floor. So what we're going to do is knock those blocks out, and we're going to knock these blocks out. And what that will do is exposes the wood beneath. And once you do that, you know you're in the right place, because that's where you're going to be placing your right way upstairs. So do the same there. And this brings us out to the wall. So when we knock through like this, it brings us out to the right place on the next story. And what we're then just going to simply do is fill this in with some upside down stairs as well, and replace this roof with some oak, and also do the same for the floor. For this little bit down to the floor, what we'll do is we'll put 1 more set of oak in here. We'll have 1 set of stairs here upside down, and then just to cover this, we'll place a couple of planks there. And that is now complete with the oak on either side. All of these blocks on the inside here, where you can see the stone, these just need to be replaced with some spruce to keep this nice and clean. And that is going to be right the way round on this interior pillar. And also, it's going to be level to this point here as well on both the sides. But we are going to do something different on this extra wall section. So here, level with this pillar, we'll be replacing this with the spruce. With the spruce coming level here and here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to clear out everywhere again that we can see a block here. But this time, we're not going to replace it with, and we don't necessarily need to do those corner bits. We're going to replace this with barrels, because this is going to be our main storage here. So at all of these gaps, we're going to bring in and fill this in entirely with barrels. There's quite a lot of barrels, but just fill all of this section in. With the storage all in place, the last thing to do, we don't obviously want torches hanging around. So these 2 barrels here and here, we're going to replace. What you can do is that you can actually pop that barrel 1 block back, and what we're going to do is we're going to place some lanterns in those holes. We're going to do the entrance now and start on the wreath. So the first thing that we're going to do, obviously we don't want a torch there, so we're just going to hang a lantern here, and that's obviously going to give us light in this section. Now we're going to knock out these 2 blocks, and we're going to place 2 blocks of quartz. This is going to be where the doorway is going to be. And then on top of this, we're then going to place 2 redstone blocks either side with 2 quartz stairs in between, and a quartz pillar placing it the right direction going up like this. So we've got some little candy cane style entrance going on. The next bit of the exterior that we're going to do is to fill in the glass front. So just fill in this entire big window here with glass all the way across. Now for the wreath, we're going to fill in some of the leaves. The main leaves that we're going to be using is spruce, but we're also going to throw in some birch leaves as well. And what we're going to do first of all is we're going to cover up this entire spruce section here all the way round like so. And I will just show you on one side. We're then going to fill in these corners, just in each of the corners. We're going to fill in between these sets of redstone lamps. And I will mix in the birch afterwards. And then in between these lamps, we're going to come up or out 1 further block like so. We're then, where we've got these corners, just going to come in either one of these. Now this is just for indication. We'll replace that with some stone on both sides, and then it'll look a bit like this. I'll fill it all in and show you what the finished thing will look like, mixing in some birch leaves. This is what the base level of the wreath will then look like once you've mixed in some birch. And now we're going to move on to the next level. And the first thing that we need to do, and this is quite an important one, is we need 1 green wool here. And that's going to be so that we can create the bow on the front in a second. But what we're then going to do is start by taking our decoration blocks and randomly mixing them in. So you can probably copy what I'm doing if you like, or you can mix them in any way that you like. So I'm going to be using gold. Now if gold is a bit too expensive, then you've got other decoration blocks that you could use if you fancied. But yeah, like I say, I'm going to be using gold, and then I'm going to be using redstone because they are very Christmassy colours. So we're going to come up here, and if you do use redstone, make sure that you don't place any directly next to the redstone lamps because that will power them. But as long as they are not in direct contact, it'll be fine, and you can just use them as decoration. So what I'll do, like I say, is just add in some of the blocks here. And there, when you've got a nice mixture of those colours, then you can take your leaves again. And what we're going to be doing with these leaves is basically connecting up the bits in between these lamps again using some leaves, and again I'll mix in some birch afterwards, and then also connecting up these corners with an L shape like this. So obviously where you've built in the decoration, this is just to give it some depth. It'll look like that, and then wherever you like, you can just mix in, like I say, the odd birch leaf. If you've covered up a birch leaf, you might want to then replace it with another one like so. Now to add some tinsel sparkles to this using some cobwebs, and what we're going to do again, we're just going to randomly place these in wherever you think looks good in the build, but this is the places that I'm gonna pop these. Let's pop one there, and here. And here, just spacing them out wherever you think that there's a bit of a gap and you want something to make it a little bit more exciting and interesting, and filling them in like so. And maybe one more just down here, and one final one there. The final touch for this is going to be adding a bow to the front. So what we're going to do is come to this wall block so we know where to start, and we're going to place a wall on that, and that'll connect through to the wreath. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place, and I'll show you one side and you just repeat this on the other side, a block here. You'll then place a stair, and it's going to be a bottom stair, and this is all using the red nether brick. On top of that you'll have a full block, and then you'll have a slab on top of that. Here we need to place down just a junk block that we can then get rid of, so that we've got something that we can place an upside down stair into. And here again we'll need one more junk block just so that we can place a floating slab like this, and that gives us one side of the bow, and just repeat that on the other side. The final step for this exterior is to take a couple of warped wood doors and just place them on the outside. And when we switch the lever on, now you'll see that we get the lovely flashing wreath with the full bow in there, and it looks fantastic. Now to the interior. Starting downstairs, first we'll put in the furnace array. So what we're going to do is come to this back corner, and we're going to knock out 3 by 4 blocks like so. And in the middle here we're going to place 4 furnaces, and around the edge we're going to place some stone brick walls, just to give a bit of depth into the build here. Now we're going to place the fireplace, and we're going to leave a block, and we're going to go across 4 like this. And we're going to knock that back, and we're also going to take that back a further level into the wall here. Now in the bottom, all of these blocks we're going to replace with the polished andesite. We're going to place a couple of campfires in the middle here, some bricks up the side like this, a couple of walls on either side, and obviously with the smoke so it can collect there, we're going to place some andesite stairs in front like that. Behind here as well we can switch this out for some of the stone bricks, rather just the bricks rather, like that, so you get the full chimney breast. And lastly we connect that up with a little fire grate. Carrying on from that, we're going to place a couple of crafting benches just underneath the furnace array for practicality's sake, Then we're going to place some seats for a little table area here and here with some dark oak. Using some birch fences, we're going to create the legs for the table, and then using some of the spruce trapdoors, I'm just shift clicking there, we'll create a little tabletop. Now in front of that we are just going to place a little lamp, and now you can either use the stone, or if you wanted you could replace that with some spruce behind that. Now for the little seating area here, we're going to come 1-2 blocks back, and we're going to place 2 dark oak chairs, well, stairs really, and then we are going to place some arms to those chairs. Now what you can do, because this doesn't cover up anything, is if you want a little bit more space, we can knock this through and then just use some of the oak to fill that in, and again replace the floor like so. So it gives you just a little bit more space down here. Now the final stage for this is to add in some carpet, and I'm just using red and green carpet, just some nice Christmassy colours. And likewise, if you wanted to do, you could just place a nice little pattern going on here for all of the areas up to the stairs, so you've got a nice little carpeted entryway. Obviously you can't place anything underneath that, but if you did want to replace that with a wall block, then you could. And the other thing to do down here is just cover up that quartz with some stairs. It already looks really cozy down here, but if you want to add just a little bit more festive cheer, then you can use some of the green and the red banners to just create some patterns either side. Just try alternating them up and down like so. And yeah, again, just here, almost a little bit like some wallpaper. And what fireplace at Christmas time wouldn't be complete without some stockings above it? Now obviously, if you are in creative, you can also use the command to make these invisible item frames. But yeah, that's the downstairs. Moving on to the upstairs next. Upstairs, first thing we're going to do is some lighting. So we're going to find the middle of these 5, come in 1 block, and on the second block we're going to place a lantern. We're going to then come in 2 further blocks, and on the third block, so that's 2 blocks from the back wall as well, place a lantern, and that will sufficiently light up the entire upstairs. Now we're going to start placing some of the enchanting setup, and this is all going to be in this corner. So we're going to take out the walls here like so, and what we're going to do is just fill this up right on the first 2 levels with some bookshelves, and then over the top, just to give it a nice detail, we're going to then place some spruce, upside down spruce stairs like this. Now in here we need to knock out these 2, and we'll knock out those 2 as well, and we will turn those into some of the spruce planks, and we're going to come in here and we're going to place a trapdoor like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place a bookshelf in front of here, a bookshelf here. On top of this one we're going to place an anvil, and on top of this one we're going to place a grindstone, and that is then going to be shut. But what we can do is now get a bucket of water, and we can place the bucket of water in here, so we've got a water source handy to us. Last thing that we're going to do on this stage is we're going to place 2 beds in, and again I'm just going with the same colour palette with the green and the red. Carrying on, we place our enchanting table in here, and that gives us the full level 30. Then we're going to place a soul sand here with some nether wart, just so we can grow that next to what is our enchanting setup. So that's what we're going to do here. Then next to that we're going to leave a gap and place an ender chest, so we should always have an ender chest to hand. Here we're going to place a couple of little seats with a dark oak sign on the side like so, as an arm to the chair. We're also going to place some upside down stairs either side of the bed for some bedside tables, and finish off this stage by putting in a little bedside lamp. Now in this little gap that we've created here, we're going to put an armour stand. So we're going to knock these through, and we're going to take those out so we can replace them with some spruce planks. Next we put an oak slab on the floor, and we place the armour stand up in the air against the wall, and it will sit on that slab. Now we can just put our armour on top, like so, and we can finish that off by placing just a little trapdoor above like that. To finish off the upstairs and the build, what we're going to do is we're just going to replace these blocks here with some dark oak, just because it looks a little bit nicer behind the bed. We're going to put a little potted plant on the side here, and we're going to make that a spruce sapling so it looks a bit like a mini Christmas tree. And then we're going to put some carpet in as well. So again, whatever pattern you fancy to do this carpet, but we're just going to place some green and some red carpet for the Christmassy touch here. Last thing is, again, as we've done previously, let's do it alternating, some banners coming through, and then just some banners again above this. You can hide your little trapdoor there, and then some banners either side of your armor, like this, and then we are done. I've done a little bit of decorating around the area, including some custom spruce trees and some candy canes, yeah, a little sledge just down here, and I'm just showing you the build in the vanilla textures. So yeah, as you can see, the build still looks fab when you look at it with the vanilla textures. I'm coming up to the window here and looking at the interior. So now I'm going to chuck on the shaders and show you what the build looks like in its entirety. So I've now popped the shaders on, and I'm using BSL shaders for this. I think the build looks fantastic as we look in through this big open window. And now if we have a bit of a closer look at the build itself, we head down in here, and it's nice and cozy as soon as you get inside. Plenty of room if you did want to expand the base out, but it does have everything that you need, including this lovely little fireplace that you can just chill out in front of, waiting for Christmas. And then head up here to sleep whenever you're tired. And yeah, it's got everything that you need in this little base, including the wonderful views out the big window at the front there. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this build. If you have, please do let me know in the comments. Let me know also anything else that you'd like to see in the Christmas series. Also, if you haven't already, please do hit that like button. It really, really does help. And make sure that you do subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I will be doing some more Christmas videos. So check out all of the Christmas videos in the current playlist. But that being said, all that's left to be said is thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on ADcraft. Bye.